Everyone. Welcome to the 18th episode of the Social Good Podcast. Today we have with us Cristina Vanko. She's the founder of Arrow and also a art director and creative director. Thank you so much for joining us, Cristina.
Of course.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, about Arrow, and how you came to the work that you are doing today.
Yeah, so I'm Christina. I live in New York. I'm a Midwesterner at heart, though. I will say that. I'm originally from
Oh,
Chicago and claim Chicago as my home.
okay.
Um, yeah, no, I always grew up doing creative, doing art, and knew when I got to college that I wanted to make a career out of it. My dad was an art teacher, and then I also even grew up going to comic conventions, so seeing like art being made and like people with careers in it as like a possibility was always
Mhm.
so cool to me. So I always try to be creative as much as I can. And so
Okay.
in college, I kind of discovered design after taking a bunch of different more fine arts and studio classes and thought, oh, this is a really great way to still be creative, but at the same time learn new skills. So kind of dove in the world of design. Um, and after college, got my first job as a designer at like an incubator space in Indianapolis, Indiana. Not the coolest city in the world, but it's still pretty cool.
Nice.
Um, and I designed a lot of different products and enterprise software for a bunch of startups. So basically, founders came to them and they're like, we've got an idea or a little
Mm,
bit fleshed out of an idea, but we need a team to kind of help really build this.
mm,
So
mm,
this was around 2012. I feel like UX UI design wasn't quite a thing then, or it wasn't quite as like you don't go to school for it. It was more of like designers kind of jumped into that.
okay.
Um, it was interesting because I was mostly a print designer and was learning a lot of digital skills then. And
Mm,
so after that, I basically found my copywriter and jumped into advertising for a number of years
mm,
after applying to this one agency out in Portland, Oregon called Wyden and Kennedy. They're
Yeah,
really
I
known
heard
for all
about
the
them. Yeah.
yeah, they're super creative. They're known for all the Nike spots.
Oh.
Really great people. But I met my copywriter there. And so we worked at an agency in Chicago called Young and Rubicon,
Mm.
very classic agency style setup. And we are the lead creatives on Baby Bell cheese. And
Oh.
yeah, so kind of funny. We gave the small cheese with big taste a personality, basically, and worked on
Gotcha.
everything from print, digital, experiential, social, you
Right
name
when
it, we
social was
probably,
becoming a thing.
right, exactly.
Mhm.
So you name it, we probably did it. And
Awesome.
so, like every agency,
Hmm.
everybody has layoffs, and that's kind of jump started my freelance career. And
Oh,
so
I see.
after that, basically, I started freelancing and at the same time was doing a lot of illustration work. A project
Mm.
I did went viral, and my
Oh,
editor at Penguin found it. I basically wrote all my text messages in calligraphy for a week, and the
oh,
internet took it by storm. And they're like, this is a digital
wow.
detax queen. Like, what is she doing? And my editor
What
found it and was like,
what platform was it on?
so I just drew it out on paper and basically wrote an article about like the things that I learned and put it on my website. But back in like 2013,
Mm,
design blogs were really big. So there was
mm.
this blog called Quipsologies that picked it up and
Oh,
was like a hub for other places to basically pick up articles. And
mm.
so they picked it up and then it spread like wildfire. It was really crazy. Like
Wow.
Fast Company, Huffington Post,
Wow.
Glamour Paris, like all these random outlets. And I was like, wow, I just thought this was a silly idea I would
Mm,
do.
mm.
But it got into the hands of my now editor, and she asked if I wanted to write a book. And so I
About that.
wrote a book. So similar, but still different. So
Okay.
calligraphy is different than hand lettering. Hand lettering is more drawn out and illustrated
Okay.
typography, while calligraphy just like flows from your pen and it's the
Mm,
art of writing.
mm-hmm.
So similar, but different enough
Mm.
because one's more thought out. Sorry.
No worries.
Um, and so basically, what ended up happening, she wanted to have me write a book, and I did. And basically, I wrote a book about how to hand letter, which is more
Mm.
of like a how to niche design book. And then
Okay.
loved working with her, and we wrote a book on adulting afterwards. And
Mm.
so, yeah, I was freelancing, writing books, doing a little bit of illustration work, and then
Mm-hmm.
as the pandemic rolled around, that's kind of when I was like getting back into product design and like
Mm-hmm.
really getting back into like figuring out like dating again.
Right.
And was a lot more public about my dating life, not in the like I'm going to tell you who I went on a date with. It was more like the
Mm.
findings and feelings that I had, and
Mm.
kind of shared that with people, and I found that it was really relatable. And so
So this is
I
in your
decided,
personal life.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So on Twitter, I was sharing all that, and my friend was starting to build a company and was like, why don't you build a dating app? And was like,
Mm.
okay, like let's think about this. And I've always been a very social person, was using voice notes before anybody knew they really existed. And she's like,
Mm.
you should build. And I was like, we should build with audio notes because
Right.
that's such a missing component to a
Mm.
lot of dating these days.
Mm.
And so, and that's kind of how Arrow came to be. So,
Okay. Okay. How is
yeah.
what stage are you guys at with Arrow currently?
Still building it. So
Okay. The app
basically,
or
yeah, like we've got the community kind of built up,
mm.
but yeah, we're
Mm.
working on the engineering
I
portion.
see. Are you guys when are you guys set to launch the app?
We don't have a date for launch just yet. So
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
So pending sometime in the near
in the
future
future.
ish. Okay,
Yes.
got you, got you. And so I'm actually also working or semi working on launching a charity dining app. So
Ooh.
I'm kind of curious what like your journey has been like. Like, has it been easy to find community? Have you found like validation?
Yeah. So community is funny because I think like my advertising principles really come to play. um, as a creative. Whenever you're pitching ideas, a lot of times,
Mm,
like people are very embarrassed to say the silliest idea or the ones that are like most revealing. But when in reality, those are the human truths that we're all like kind of
mm,
feeling that
right,
becomes relatable. And so
right.
I feel like with even sharing like my dating journey and like all that sort of fun stuff, that
Mm,
people understand what it's like because they're like, oh,
mm,
I'm in your shoes. So building a community has been great because a lot of people kind of relate and
mm, mm,
understands like where I'm coming from because they feel it too.
mm,
Um, yeah, other than that, with like validating the idea, it's funny because like I've been working on it for a while, and even over the past couple of years, the idea of voice notes and like the popularity of them has like gone up and
mm,
down. And
mm,
like then there's
mm.
AI dating, and then like you see all these
Wait,
different things
AI
kind of,
dating? What's
yeah, like you remember like I don't know what, maybe
like you're
like 9 months
like you're
ago, and
okay.
all these AI dating apps were coming out, that people were basically talking to chatbots.
Oh.
Um, Yeah, like basically a lot of trends kind of come and go, and certain things stay around. And I think one of the
Okay.
like tried and true things has still been the popularity with audio, and it just keeps getting more popular. You see it being incorporated in a lot more different software, a lot of different apps. People
So
becoming more comfortable with it.
with AI dating?
No, with audio.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of different trends come and go,
Right.
but audio still sticks around.
Okay. Okay. So, as far as the AI dating, is that still a thing? Like, or because yeah, that sounds kind of weird to be honest.
Um, I don't know if did you freeze? You may have frozen. Okay, you're back.
Hello. Oh, I'm so sorry. We got disconnected for just a moment.
No worries.
So I was asking about AI, the whole AI dating thing. Is that still a thing, or what's the field like with that?
I mean, there are still apps, and people still find it to be something that they might want.
Mm,
But
mm,
for me,
mm.
I just feel like we've lost the plot if we're going in that direction, just because you want to meet a human and you don't
Right.
want somebody to talk for you. So, like, if you're
Exactly.
going to have somebody talk for you, have a matchmaker and like actually deal
Right.
with like humans. So, still around, but like, I think it's losing steam in terms of popularity. You're not hearing it
Okay. Okay.
about it quite as much.
I'm actually relieved to hear that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So like when you're talking about like voice dating, like are you still matching with people or
Yeah.
okay, but just through like your profile has voice notes.
Right. So, in order to match with somebody, you send them a voice note versus a text note and basically continue having conversations via voice.
Okay. But like when you're swiping on someone's profile, do you have like voice notes for your profile, like introducing yourself or anything like that?
Yeah, in the bio section, but at the same time, part of attraction is always going to be visual. So, having photos is
Mm.
also accompanied with that.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So it's like Bumble but with voice notes.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, okay. Do you have like a wait list out for it or?
Yeah, we have a wait list. There's probably 1,000-ish people on it, which is really
Oh
exciting.
wow, wow, that
And
is.
yeah, and then I have a Twitter account for it and an Instagram. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. How did you get people to sign up for your wait list?
Basically just promoting on Twitter more than
Um,
anything because
okay.
the tech community is really big and really
Mm,
active. So it's been
right,
really good in getting the word out.
right. So have you gotten any like feedback regarding your?
Yeah, so we did a little bit of research, and basically, with a lot of the questions we've asked about
Mm,
like what people think, not only even in like our research, but even just like talking to anybody who's dated before, a lot of people really
mm,
love the idea just because you do
mm.
learn a lot more about a person. There's more personality there,
Okay,
and
okay.
it's less small talk and more real talk. So,
Oh, I see. I see. Um, okay, but like for example, when I try to approach people to get feedback on Bright On my charity dining app idea, a lot of people were like weren't so keen on like giving their time or giving their like feedback. How did you get users to get feedback, or where did you
um,
find the pool that like wanted to?
yeah, basically, I put out a word on Twitter, but at the same time, just asking people directly and being like, hey,
Mm,
like, do you
mm,
have 20 minutes to validate an
mm.
idea? And can we do like a quick little interview? And
Oh, okay.
basically, that I think people are like, when you talk about something, it's a little bit quicker than like filling out
Mm,
like a survey or like writing feedback. So
mm.
I think that also helped.
Okay.
Um,
Like
but yeah,
people
I
that you
think
know personally, or?
people that I know personally are people within like my network. They might
Mm,
not be people that I know like as a first degree like connection, but like
mm.
within the circles.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay. And so, yeah, like what can you go over a little bit about like what gave you the idea for the whole voice dating app?
Yeah, I think like as I was dating, um, I found myself to be an incredibly bad texter. Like, I'm a good texter when you're like comparing yourself to other people, but like for
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm just like, I'm not having like great conversations. Nothing that deep is really going on with my life that I'm going to text something out. So I figured, I was like, what if we added audio? And at the same time, like, stories are meant to be told, not texted, to get the
Mm,
idea of
I
like
see.
inflection, intonation, personality,
Oh,
whether there's a joke involved. Um, so I thought like voice notes would be the easiest way to
mm,
kind of really get the idea of personality out there. And at the
okay.
same time, too, that's really the whole idea behind it. There's no other
Mm,
bells and whistles. And when you're trying to get to know somebody from the start, like, all you really need to do is talk. Like, I don't have to
mm,
log in at a certain time. I don't have to put in like a
mm,
hundred different filters. Like, that
right.
makes it feel like you're playing a game. Let's
Mm,
let's eliminate that. Like, there's enough games in dating already, you know?
mm,
So taking it back to the very beginning, which is just talking. So
got you,
I
got
thought
you.
it
And
just
like,
needed to be simplified.
okay, okay. Are you launching with any like additional features, or are you sticking to like a like just your core feature, the audio for your MVP?
Just
I'm assuming.
Yeah, just mainly core features like age,
Mm,
location,
mm,
what sex you are, and then just audio. Yeah. Because I think
okay.
like even when Tinder first originally launched, there weren't
Mm,
hundreds of filters, and there was a beauty to just talking to people, whether it's just
mm.
texting and having a photo. And I feel like this is kind of a new way to do that, but just doing it with audio.
Okay, okay. Like how long are the audio excerpts or the voice notes? How long can they be?
At least we want a minimum of at least like 10 seconds, just so you
Okay.
don't get people saying like, hey, or what's up, or like, what are you
Right,
doing, or WID.
right.
Just so like people have real conversations.
Okay.
Um, and then a max at a couple minutes. So,
Oh,
because we
okay.
don't want podcast length messages
Right, right,
also, because then people lose
right.
interest.
Okay, okay. Can are you allowed to text or is it just voice notes?
Just voice notes.
Okay. Like, are you guys launching on the Play Store or on iOS or both?
We're building an iOS right now, so at
Mm,
least at first iOS.
I see. Um, are you like outsourcing or do you have like a CTO on your
So
team?
don't have a CTO, unfortunately. Would love one, but yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. So you're outsourcing then, or are you building it
yeah,
yourself? Oh, you're outsourcing. Okay, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing as well. Yeah. So like a lot of people talk about like marketing being like really, really important when you're launching an app. Like, do you find that to be true? And how like hard are you pushing for marketing for Arrow?
yeah. I mean, I think marketing and even just good design is very important for launching anything, especially in the consumer social space, just because
Right.
it's a new shiny object. Got to make it cool and got to make it
Mm,
something that people would use. So
mm,
yeah, I think it's incredibly important just to get the word out. I think like the one thing that people don't think about quite as much is word of mouth. If something's cool,
mm.
you're going to tell somebody about it,
Right,
especially if
right.
it's something great and like helping you.
Mm,
So that's definitely important to me.
okay. And like, are you a user of the app yourself? Do you see yourself like looking for dates on Arrow?
I mean, when it's a real thing, absolutely yes.
Yeah, like what dating apps do you use currently and how would you rank them?
the big three are Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. I feel
Mm,
like I like them all for different reasons. Hinge feels more like the LinkedIn of dating. It feels more professional. People talk a little bit slower and you fill out
mm,
much more of a profile. While
okay.
Bumble and Tinder are very similar in that they're like more quick conversations, but Bumble
Mm,
feels a little bit more serious than Tinder,
I
which
see.
everybody thinks is a hookup app.
Hookup. Okay.
Which I
More.
know they're trying to rebrand that it all starts with a swipe, but when you
Oh.
already have that idea kind of hammered into your user
Mm,
base's head, it's
mm,
kind of hard to get out of that bubble.
I see.
So out
And
of
you mean?
all of them,
Mm,
sorry,
I'm sorry. For Bumble, you said thought it was a little more serious. What do you mean by that?
a little bit more serious in that like Bumble and Hinge, I feel like would be ranked the same way that like more people are looking for relationships versus a hookup,
Okay. Oh, I
like
see.
Tinder. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
people are looking to like have a long term relationship or like get married
Yeah, a
somewhere.
little bit more. Like you still
Okay.
run across your funny groups of clowns on all these apps. Um,
Bots even.
exactly. Yeah, my friends and I have been finding a lot of bots lately on Hinge, which is really strange.
Oh,
Just
okay.
because Tinder's usually the app that a lot of people find bots on. So that's been really interesting too.
Yeah, are people still using Hinge? Is Hinge really popular in the States right now?
Yeah, I would say it's one of the most popular just because I think we've reached a burnout point that a lot of people are like, oh, I just want to date. I just want to date somebody
Mm,
versus going on endless dates. So I think a
mm,
lot of people find Hinge as the
okay.
app where people are a little bit more serious and actually wanting to jump
Okay.
into more relationships. So,
Okay. Yeah, cuz I'm actually located in Korea and here like I tried using Hinge and it was like not like
oh,
maybe
interesting.
because it was still like a little bit new here, but there were not as many matches and it just felt really awkward.
Got it.
But like yeah, I've had much better user experience with Bumble and like I felt like more of the conversations were more genuine and a lot more
Yeah.
friendly.
Yeah, I think Bumble, I mean, they recently allowed men to message first if you're in like a
Oh,
heterosexual relationship. So women don't
oh,
always have to make the first move, which
okay.
I think is cool, but at the same time, you got away from the actual meaning and root of what the core idea was of the app, which was women making the
Mm.
first move. So that says a lot too.
Wait, you mean like men can message women first when it's like men?
hmm
Oh, okay. I
Yeah, so
wonder.
they recently released
Mm.
that.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's come in Korea yet, but I noticed that like when I put a prompt, men could message me first as a response to the prompt.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, like, what is it about dating that you that prompted you to start a dating app?
Well, for me, it was more I kept finding myself being bored texting. And at the same time, too, one of my best friends is like a sex and relationship therapist.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, you would be a really great person to start this and you're a designer. So why not use your design skills and
Mm,
actually create a
mm.
better experience? And I'm like, you're
Okay.
correct.
So you're doing like what are you what like role are you playing in Arrow? Do you have any co-founders?
So it's all me right now. I'm a designer.
Mm.
Um, so very, very small and lean.
So you're doing the UI UX for Arrow?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So like the what do you call it? I'm forgetting. Something flow, mock flow? Maka?
User flows.
User
Yeah,
flows?
user
Okay.
flow, brand, the design, all that fun stuff.
Okay, okay. Do you plan on finding co-founders or are you going to be like a solo founder, which is like super rare among women, by like
Yeah, no, I know. I've had a couple in the past. They didn't work out.
oh, I
Um,
see.
and yeah, life got too busy and
Right, right.
sometimes people don't want to engineer. So basically, yeah, kind of wild. So basically, I'm open to it, but I think I want somebody who's like as invested.
Right.
So until finding that.
What do you, oh, like invested in building the app or invested money?
Yeah, and the idea and
Oh,
everything. I think it's one of those like I'm really excited about it just because I've gotten really great feedback even from like other like big dating app
mm.
founders and like all
Oh,
that sort of
wow.
stuff that they're
Nice.
like, good luck. This is actually a really good idea. And
Mm.
because of that, I'm like, I'm still very hopeful, but at the same time, like
Mm.
when you've had weird experiences in the past with like people building and like kind of disappearing, just like in dating, to be completely
Oh
honest,
my
like
gosh.
it's kind of wild that like you just wanted it to be the right person. So,
How many like co-founders did you go through, if you don't mind me asking?
two,
Okay, okay. And they were
yeah.
were they like CMOs or
No, they were more CTOs. So my first
CTO?
one, yeah, which I thought we would do a lot more with like the engineering side, but
Mm.
we didn't because life got in the way. And then like another
Mm.
one was like, I actually want to climb mountains and like not work on a startup. And I was
Oh,
like, okay, that's
okay.
fair.
Yeah, you cannot stop
So
someone who wants to climb a mountain.
literally.
um, yeah, like were they um were they did you sign like an NDA with them? And
No,
like
we
did you
didn't.
guys
So we
okay.
just
I mean not
started.
an NDA,
Um,
like did you guys like do the whole equity thing or
no, at that point, it was just too fresh for both of them.
okay.
So the first one and I, we basically did the research phase together. And then afterwards, I was
Um
like, okay, let's start building. He was like, well, you know what? The pandemic really taught me that, like, I don't have to work as much as I want,
mm,
or I need. That, like,
mm,
I'd rather be in nature versus working on tech. And then
mm.
the second one, we only did a little bit together because his job just really picked up and was like, I have no free time.
Ah,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Um, where did you look for your co-founders?
Um, Word of mouth through
Oh,
friends that actually almost used one of them as a CTO. And then another one was he slid into my DMs.
oh, okay, okay. And did you like publicly like post saying that you were looking for a CTO or co-founder?
You know, I did a while back, and I feel like I got some interest, but it wasn't as nearly as much as I thought. And then at
Mm,
the same time, too, you get a lot of bots and people
mm.
that just don't seem real DMing you. So
Oh, okay,
the word of mouth and like friends meeting friends type of
okay.
situation is always kind of preferred because somebody knows somebody and you're not taking like such a shot in
Right,
the dark.
right, right.
Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
also looked too on Y Combinator and did the
Oh.
speed dating there. That wasn't as fruitful as I thought because
Mm.
honestly, their back end has a lot of issues when they're going through the speed dating process. Like, I don't know how many
Mm,
times I was sitting there and nobody would be at their computer or like there were bugs. So,
mm,
and that's
mm,
also a different subsect of like people wanting to do tech as well. Not many
mm.
consumer focused people.
Yeah.
So,
I went the other route and I looked for people in the wild. Wild meaning like like Reddit
oh,
and
interesting.
yeah, there's an app called Coffee Space that actually like
Oh,
has some like legitimate people. Um
okay.
yeah, and I was like relatively new to Reddit, so I had to do the whole like I don't know if you use Reddit, but you have to like have karma points. Um,
Okay.
and you have to like accumulate them by commenting on posts. So for like 2 or 3 days, I was just commenting on like puppy pictures, like and giving advice on like how to raise dogs because
That's so funny.
that's something that I knew. Go figure.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so
Interesting.
I finally posted after that, and I got like I've been talking to some people, but haven't quite put my finger on one that
Got
I
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I've done networking events too, and it's really
Mm,
just gauging the excitement of
right,
people,
right.
whether you guys talk more.
Yeah. But honestly, it's like, it's like a full-time job, like trying to find someone. Like, recruiting is not, it's like takes so much out of you, I feel like.
This is true.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. So what are your next like steps as far as Arrow or your other professional career? I think you put on your LinkedIn that you're still like open to work as a art director or designer. What are your
Yeah.
you have another book coming? What are you looking forward to for the rest of the
I
year?
think right now I'm really focused on finding a job just because that will help jumpstart everything else. And I know a
Mm,
lot of people talk about like going all in on your startup, but not everybody is wealthy enough to do that. I
right.
think that's a big misconception that I don't understand why people say that because not everybody could do that. And I think
Mm,
that's like a big lie a lot of startup founders have been told from the start. Like I've always worked on side projects. All my books were side projects. Like you
mm.
could work on things on the side if you're passionate enough about it. So I've been focused on finding a job, and at the same time too, once I feel more comfortable there, I feel like I could jump into whatever side projects and like continue working
Oh,
on Arrow.
okay. Do you still get like I don't know if revenue is the right word, but do you still get proceeds from your books? Because I think they had
Yeah,
like, quite a few sales, no? Like over 35K for one and over 100K for the other, right?
yeah, royalties.
Royalty. There you
Yeah, no, I do. It's nothing to live off of, so you could definitely. I'm not
go.
J.K. Rowling. I think it would be different if I created the
Oh.
Harry Potter series, but
um. So Penguin, you signed with Penguin House, is that right? Am I saying that right?
yeah, Penguin Random House.
There you go. And they're like a very well known like publisher. What
Yep.
was the process like with them?
So, because I had that article go viral, my editor found me and asked if I was interested in writing a book. That wasn't a traditional pathway that most authors take. Usually, authors pitch ideas and
Mm,
they traditionally have an agent to pitch
mm.
to, and then the agent pitches to different publishing houses. So I bypassed a lot of steps basically and jumped straight to a quick little outline pitch before getting an offer and just starting to work on
Wow.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was definitely an untraditional route.
So where is your book available?
Anywhere books are sold, it's so
Okay.
weird to say that. Yeah.
Like, do you see them at like bookstores, or are they mainly sold? Like, are most of them sold on Amazon or something like that?
So my first book is doing really well with online sales when it
Okay.
comes to comparing it against my second book. That one does better in store. So it's kind of
Mm,
funny because everyone's like everything's online, which everything is online, but there's certain things that, especially even in like the world of publishing, I think people like to pick things up and actually look at them before
mm.
making a
Yeah.
purchase.
Yeah.
So that one's done very well, brick and mortar.
Which
So
one? The millennial one or
yeah,
adult?
adultish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that looks like a really fun idea. I think we're like we're both millennials. So I think I would like actually relate to that book as well. I'll definitely
Yeah,
check it out after.
yeah, it's super fun. It's meant to be just like a fun little book with memory markers and like words of encouragement, basically, that like you're not old, but we're all growing.
It's like taking a comical approach at aging, basically, right?
Exactly.
And what are memory markers?
Oh, just like different things for you to record, like fun or like big
Oh,
milestones that have happened.
okay. And are they mainly with like career, personal, both?
All the things that encompass adulthood. So
Mm.
anything from like what was your first legal drink to like your first date to your first real job, like that type of thing.
Oh, okay. So is it like half like journaling, something like that, or?
Yeah, half
Oh, wow.
journaling and like little exercises, and
Oh,
there are also essays and stuff combined.
nice. Like essays for the reader or the reader to write.
Yes,
Oh, nice. That's sounds really cool. Is that in paperback or hardcover or both?
it's paperback.
Paperback. Got you. Got you. And how much is the book?
So my first book, I believe it's like $18 or $17, and then my second book's 15.
The adultish is 15.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, nice. Okay. And what percent of the like what's your royalty looking like?
It's very, very low. I think I'm lucky if I even get $1 per book.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's lower than that, yeah.
Wow. And did you like debate whether you wanted to go with self-publishing versus like signing with such a big publisher?
No. Self-publishing is a lot harder
Mm,
versus going
true,
the big publishing route. Like you get a
true,
team versus doing everything alone.
true. Okay, but like, even if your royalty percentage is like relatively low, you get like ongoing sales for the book, no?
Yeah. And then all the partnerships have already been made with different stores and
Mm.
suppliers
Oh, I see.
that,
Okay. Do you
yeah.
do any like promotional stuff for the books?
Um, Book promotions most of the time always happen around the launch period. Just
Oh, okay.
because once they're kind of out, it's funny because even like the book scene is kind of seen as like, oh, it already came out, it's old.
Mhm.
So
Mhm,
every once in a while I do, especially like around holidays, but I mean,
mhm.
they're a few years old at this point that I can't be like, hey, I got this new book.
Okay. And so what like just in case there's anyone, listening in the audience, what type of work are you looking for?
Design, whether it be visual product or brand, art direction, whether it be in advertising or literally anywhere else. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And your experience is with like on the agency side or with
Yeah,
working directly
mostly
with clients?
agencies.
Okay.
Mostly agencies. I work directly with brands and then also with
Mm.
startups.
Okay. And some of you've worked with Babel, the cheese company, right?
Baby Bell. Yeah.
Baby Bell. I totally butchered that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
Baby Bell. Okay. Just combined everything. And what are some of the other clients that you've worked with?
Let's see. Baby Bell, Butterball, Burson, Embassy Suites, Doubletree, Altria Group, Camel, Snooze, Kmart, Instagram, Allbirds, McDonald's,
Allbirds is
Billboard
a big one.
Magazine.
Mm.
Yeah, like a lot of different companies.
Okay. Okay.
HP, Google.
Oh, okay. So like sector agnostic. There you go. All right. Um, and so yeah, like what's the top thing that you're concentrating on for the rest of the year before
um,
2024 closes out?
Learning as much as I can. I will say that, whether it be
Okay.
personal or professional. This has been
That's
a
a good
year
one.
of that, honestly.
Mm, that's a good one. Do you have any like personal goals that you're trying to accomplish? Climbing mountains?
You know what? No, and that's okay because usually I have too many. like
There
I
you go.
think like I think just getting to a place where I'm like happy and comfortable. Like I was
Mm.
kind of traveling out of New York quite a bit this year and just
Okay.
feeling at home, honestly.
How long have you been at New York for? In New York.
2 years.
Oh, and where were you before that? You said you were from Boston, but
Oh no, I'm from Chicago
oh,
originally.
Chicago. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I was in San Francisco for a short stint, but mostly Chicago.
Okay. Okay. So you moved before New York. You were in
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Oh, got you. Got you. What made you want
Yeah,
to move to New York?
I've always wanted to live here, and then I also interned here as a college student, And the
Mm.
city is, like, as cheesy as it sounds, very magical. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean like I'm living in Seoul with family, but one of my like personal dreams is to live in New York. So I still have time to make that happen.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one thing, especially in startup world. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm so old." And I'm like, "You're 24 years old. You've got a whole life ahead of you." Like anything could happen at any stage of life. I think we all forget that.
What's your favorite thing about New York? So I can live a little bit vicariously through you.
Favorite thing, I think, like, for me, because I'm a designer, like, you'll be walking and then you'll see a logo or like a piece of art and you'll be like, "Oh, I remember who made that." And I was so inspired learning about it. Like, I think those are the cool moments, especially when I was like younger and an intern here, when like you're
Mhm.
trying to like absorb every type of art piece, design, and like you have so many idols that you're just like, "Oh, wow, they made that." It's a cool feeling.
Must be like a haven for an artist.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Very nice, very nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Christina. We definitely learned so much from you. And if anyone wants to contact you, where should they find you?
Yeah, so my Instagram and my Twitter handle is both Cristina Vanko, so Cristina, V as in Victor, Anko. Um, yeah, I'm always online, so you could
All
find
right,
me,
there
DM
you go.
me.
There you go. Christina Vanko, thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome, thanks so much.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.